Here we are today for Guaranteed Audio Episode 9. I'm Kevin James, joined by my esteemed colleague,
Neil Ciceriga.
And Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, hi.
Ryan,
it's me, Ryan.
Wow, you sound so much more sensible.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to media current. No, that's Jordan Gibson. We're recording in Somerville today, where Jordan currently lives. Jordan, would people who watch our videos know you from anything?
Yes, you turned me into pants.
You're one of the pants victims of our of Ryan, ironically, as Trowzar the Impaler.
We also put you in the Buff promo with
Daxter
Flaxter.
Oh, yeah, duh, yeah.
What's your line, Jordan? Like, what do you do? What's your story?
What's my line in the show?
No, your
thing?
line of work.
Oh, my
like
line of work.
What's your deal?
Wow, hang on. I just realized that's what the old show "What's My Line" refers to. Like, what's my line of work?
Oh,
you know that old game show?
Yeah.
No, I don't know the game show.
All right,
I've just heard the phrase before.
To put it in your terms, it's basically figure it out in the 50s.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
All right. I am a comics artist and colorist. And right now I'm working on Power Rangers covers. That's my big thing. So
I don't know, who are your clients? Like, what have you drawn for before?
So I've done stuff for Marvel and a little for DC. Most of it is coloring Joe Canotas, who's our friend who also lives here in Somerville.
We're actually using Joe's house to record right now.
We are.
We're house sitting and watching his cat, Biggs.
But yeah, so we just did Spider-Man, and then before that we did America Chavez and Howard the Duck. So yeah,
so people go into a comic book store right now and they like what Power Rangers is it just called Mighty Morphin?
It's Mighty Morphin. It's they have like this event called Shattered Grid where an evil Tommy is like coming to get everybody else. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Tommy, at least in my mental encyclopedia of Power Rangers, has been evil as often as he's been not evil. Right?
Well, he's kind of evil in real life, right?
Jason? No, he's cool, I thought. Right? Am I thinking of the right guy? We can cut this out if we have to.
Well, we'll see. I think it's
put a mark there.
Sorry.
No, let's do it. Let's do it. No, he's fine. I don't know.
He's the one who broke the world record for doing the most for like chopping boards in half while in free fall. Am I thinking of free fall? Yeah.
You can have that one.
What did he do? Did he like jump off of a building and then just kick a bunch
of plane? We're talking about the White Ranger, right?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. You're not explaining why he's a bad guy, though.
It's one of these world records that nobody had a record before because no one had done it, as far as I know.
It's like that episode of Hey Arnold.
I've just heard that from people, because I'm still pretty new to all this, but I've heard that he is kind of his biggest fan and that I believe he was a little shitty to Billy in the 90s.
Oh yeah, a few of them.
Yeah,
were.
And they have since they're since mended their ways and they're fine now, I think. Also, I know that he and Jason,
the original Jason.
Yeah, they had like beef for a while.
Well, I can see why.
Yeah, I think it's because he came and stole his show pretty much.
Yeah.
But I actually think they are still not cool, and I think the last time they were together was at the 2017 movie premiere.
Yeah.
And before that was like 10 years before.
Did they fight?
We should save this for the Power Rangers discussion.
Yeah, okay, we're actually going to talk about Power Rangers.
We're actually going to talk about Power Rangers later. And if you've never listened to Guaranteed Audio before, our show is available on iTunes, Google Play, RSS feeds, any flavor of the rainbow for podcast distributing over at www.guaranteedaudio.com. Where I'm probably the last person on the internet that puts that www prefix.
No, it helps. Actually, I still occasionally encounter a website that just doesn't work unless you put that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it doesn't work if you do put it in.
Well, that's their fault not having a real website. Like
Yeah,
you don't have to put www in. Just go to guaranteedaudio.com to hear all of our shows.
HTT.
Yeah. We used to end every episode of New Kids on the Rock with going, we'd give out a very specific
/
www.
Forward. You always got to end it with the / just in case.
So Jordan's never been on the show before. He's filling in for Ryan. Ryan works at a school, and with the end of the semester, coming up, things are real busy for him. He'll be back next time. I think he has like a prom he's chaperoning for right now, right? Even in June.
I want to see that sitcom.
All right, let's move on to Media Current. Jordan, I don't know if you've heard our podcast before, but Media Current is when we each talk about one movie, TV show, album, comic book, video game, whatever, something you've been getting through.
Yeah, by the way, I don't know if you can hear this, but Joe's cat is meowing in the background right now.
Jordan, can you hold your mic out that way?
And then he stopped.
Okay, he's just stopped.
Wait.
Oh. He got embarrassed.
Yeah, he's like Michigan J. Frog or something.
So
we can add like stock cat sound effects later.
Neil, show Jordan how it's done. What's your Media Current?
I forgot to think of something.
What did you do yesterday?
Oh, I actually was I was bitching about it on Twitter because I was just trying to watch music videos on my TV.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, oh, I'll just find like a huge playlist that someone already made of like all the music videos that MTV used to air.
We do
and
this
I'll
all
just,
the time, yeah.
And I'll just put them on shuffle, so it'll be like watching TV, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But YouTube messed up its shuffle function or something, especially in conjunction with casting. So it's like if you do it from your phone, it doesn't really play in random order. It'll just like
the playlist in order.
Yeah, the playlist will just be in the same order every time. So
I've totally looked up a music video though in the last like month. Hit play. I've cast. I love YouTube for music video background noise when I'm like working or something. Or
it
just
still works
cooking.
if you like pick a video.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It'll just generate a playlist from that. It's like no different than Spotify.
Well, that's because YouTube they want to decide for you. But if you have like a pre-chosen playlist that someone made,
oh man,
it doesn't. It kind of like doesn't want you to use it for some reason.
It sucks. Well, because they probably want you to watch new stuff so they can make a case for record labels.
Either that, or they don't want you watching a playlist of like a movie split into 10 parts or something.
Okay, that's true too.
Yeah.
Did you get to see any good videos though?
I'm trying to think.
The last time you and I hung out, we watched like that Paula Abdul video.
Oh yeah, we went on.
Opposites
We watched a mini like a mini marathon of all the late 80s, early 90s music videos with animation in them. So it was like that Paula Abdul one, the Tom Petty one, which is pretty cool. Yeah. There was an Elton John one, and the Rod Stewart one.
The Rod Stewart one's real bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised. That Paula Abdul video is like pretty good.
They definitely dumped money into because music videos used to be commercials. They still are, but they really were like, let's spend like $4 million on a commercial to sell this record.
Yeah, it was also like her like second big song after her first hit, right?
Totally.
So they're like, all right, yeah, whatever you want.
What did Rod Stewart do?
It's this song. It's like how do you describe that song? It's like it's
about like Motown.
Yeah,
it's about we're gonna have a Motown party tonight or something. Okay, this will give you the
kind of like
it looks like shit.
It looks like a bad
I'm looking at it.
Pepper Ann knockoff.
Yeah. Okay, let me put it to you this way: Rod Stewart has an official YouTube channel. This music video is not on that channel.
Yeah, sure.
Man! Oh my god! So I had an epiphany. Rod Stewart. I thought he was like 90 years old. He's 70.
Yeah, he was.
He was like 40 when he made that video.
Yeah, but you always thought like, wow, that guy is on death's door.
I always thought he was old. I was looking up. You got Rod Stewart so old. I don't know what it is, but did you end up solving your music video?
No.
So
I think currently, if you want a truly random playlist, you just kind of have to hook your laptop up to the HDMI directly, and just,
YouTube will do it, just not through casting.
Yeah, and even then, apparently, it's iffy.
Jeez,
just the shuffle function for some reason. Yeah, they I don't want to complain about technology too much. Anyway,
we specifically complain about algorithmically determined media a lot on the show because it's a big problem.
Yeah, well, it's a medium problem.
Well, it's also I've been editing my documentary, and that exact subject is like a scene of the movie.
Yeah,
so like it's like been in the back of my head. For me, if you're gonna talk about YouTube, I guess I'll talk about I watched Evil Genius. Hillary and I watched that over the course of 2 nights. I'm into like true crime documentaries, like nonfiction stuff. I think everyone goes through spells where they just want to burn through those. I'd watched Evil Genius basically a week after I watched The Jinx on Showtime or HBO. Those brands are interchangeable in my brain. Have either of you guys seen it?
No, I haven't heard of it. I thought you were talking about Real Genius for a second.
No. Have either of you guys ever watch, like...
I've seen The Jinx. It's great.
Yeah. And have you seen anything like that? Like,
no,
in that wheelhouse? Like Making a Murderer, that kind of thing?
We started watching it.
Yeah.
I didn't get very far, though.
Making a Murderer is still probably my personal favorite. It's not perfect. But anyways, Evil Genius. So basically it's not even that old of a story. I want to say it's like 20 years old at most, about this guy who walks into a bank to rob the bank. This really happened. And he had a bomb collar around his neck, and he had like a note, and he hands it over to the bank teller saying, I want $250,000. And the note's not written by him. It's written by like people who kidnapped him and put the bomb on him.
I remember when this happened.
This really happened.
I remember
year?
I remember it happening live.
Late 90s, like 98 or something.
It was early 2000s.
Okay,
I think
it was around that. Okay.
I was following it live on like Fark.com or something.
It's great, dude. So like, it's like, now the thing is, it's a very interesting story. I won't give away anything else. It is a very interesting story, but documentaries shouldn't just be information delivery services. They should have some. Yeah, I personally judge them on the merits of their storytelling and editing and camera work. And there's some real moral lines they cross in the way they tell the story. This story gets huge. Like, there's like tons of foul play and like murder, and like, it's not just about this bank robbery. There's a lot that goes down in this town in Pennsylvania. But there's a scene where a family member of someone who dies is giving an impassioned plea to a courtroom, and they're playing back this, in the documentary, a low fidelity recording of the courtroom, because you're not going to bring they didn't have a camera crew in there, and you can't do like a painting of a voice, right? So they're playing back this woman crying. She's very emotional. It was a reenactment. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that in this. That it's one thing to reenact, like, and then I walked in the front door and my dog was dead. It's one thing to do that. It's one thing to do that. The Jinx does that, right?
Yeah.
The words reenactment are on screen for like a few seconds and they fade off real quick. I asked Hillary after, I'm like, oh, did you catch that was a reenactment? She goes, oh no, I just thought that was that person's sister. I'm like, no, they totally are fooling people.
Man.
And it's kind of gross. Like, 'cause it's one thing to read like a statement.
Yeah.
Like, but anyways, like
that's a lot of true crime stuff. I feel like
that's
it's just
line
not
you have to
always
walk.
an audio-visual like thing that you can present.
But I'm personally am totally okay with someone reading a letter or.
But you got to make it more clear that it's a reenactment.
But also, don't cry. Like, it's kind of screwed up that you hired an actor to act like a real person who's still out there walking around, still grieving over this person. It's a little.
Yeah, that'd be so weird to hear someone pretending to be you the time you cried when this terrible thing happened.
Yeah, in the context of a piece of nonfiction entertainment.
Right.
Because like, that's the line that these shows always have walked. Or these, like, I used to watch like Cold Case when I was younger. I think it's the same reason a lot of people liked Spotlight. I like just watching people do a good job serving the public. Like, it's almost like an escape now. It's like, I just want to watch like cops do
What's
their
it
job.
like?
And Making a Murderer, oddly enough, becomes all about one bad move and the system ruins it for everybody. Whereas like, this is just ultimately about a bunch of dirtbag people and the circumstances that result from a bunch of these dirtbags. Like, it's good. I think it's the weakest one of these I've watched in a long time, though.
Yeah, I'll check it out because I never found out what the story behind that was. I never followed up on it.
Honestly, you might. The thing is, if it was a longer series, I'd say just read about it. I had that moment literally 10 minutes into it. Any documentary that opens with a director or a producer introducing themselves as a character in the film is a huge red flag for me. It's not my flavor. It's not my style. It's just not what I want to see. Like, you are not part of this murder mystery. You are the person directing it. You are the person producing it, the person telling the story. So for me,
there's a few exceptions to that, but yeah.
Yeah, like there are moments, like in The Jinx, they plant the seed they're going to come back later early on, very delicately, like, yes, we are going to be in this movie. And then they're not in the following 6 hours or something like that, or whatever it was. Like, sorry, 6 episodes. Like,
the director of that actually got to know the guy. So
he had to show up for the pivotal thing that happens in The Jinx. Whereas in this, it doesn't justify it in the same way. other documentaries have, and it's not Morgan Spurlock level, but there's a few too many marks in the mediocrity column for me, and it feels so by the numbers that there's only 4 episodes, so that's my most recent thing. I mean, I could talk about how I watched Little Mermaid last week too, and I still love it. But I figured that's a little more current. Jordan, how about you? Have you watched anything or read anything?
This past week we had just been leaving Pokemon on and watching that.
Like the old 90s show?
So we started the new one, and then we were like, let's do the old one. Let me see here. We've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine also, which is great.
Terry Crews.
Yeah. And then I guess I could just talk about it. Last time I talked about Arrested Development, but it didn't
manifest on the SD card.
It made me think of it again too, what you were saying, because it reminded me of, so I didn't like it, season 5 really. For a couple of reasons, but also one thing that they keep doing that they did again is that they brought Ron Howard back, and he's in it a lot. It's like a whole plot point. Like they go to a Ron Howard cookout and stuff. It's like, fine, you guys, but why are you doing it?
That's like the first thing you get over when you're a teenager making videos on YouTube is like, okay, I think it's funny that my friends are in this.
Right.
It's not just funny. It's not just inherently funny because Ryan's doing it. Like we have to make a character out of this. Like,
yeah.
And like
so
to see people.
Ron Howard isn't intrinsic. I don't know. Is Ron Howard funny?
He's like, I guess he's like fine.
But they already did that in season 4.
Right.
Like they already did this.
Because he's dating.
I assume he's playing himself, right?
He's playing himself.
Yeah.
Because they're making that movie or whatever about Michael's life. They kind of go back to that.
That's like kind of a retread of a Seinfeld season 4.
That's kind of the thing is that, Seinfeld feels like that's another thing that we already all had that where it's like, they're going to make a show of your show and whatever.
And they have like the actors portraying them in the show. And
right.
They meet with the executives and they have like name industry people in the show. Like,
and for this one, it's like, I can't. It's because it's been like 2 weeks now, but the big thing is that like Michael Cera is dating his daughter, who's played by what's her name?
Isla Fisher.
Yes, yeah. So then she's a Ron Howard daughter, and then like they go to this cookout, and it's like a lot of like Ron Howard family jokes, I guess, and like Michael Cera tries to rebel.
It'd be funny if you were over 50.
Clint shows up, I assume, right?
I don't think he does.
What?
I don't think he does.
That's
all right. I've only seen a little bit of Arrested Development, but Clint Howard has to appear on it, right? Ron Howard's always been the producer.
Not in.
Yeah, I think he plays a homeless guy in season 2.
See, he might have already. Yeah, they might have already used him.
Yeah,
that would have been a great joke
him
to bring back.
Already played the Clint. Oh, like.
Oh, that was my brother. Yeah, we don't talk about him.
Oh, when we saw Solo, I was like, there he is.
His name's.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that. Clint Howard is in Star
He's in
Wars
it.
now. I still haven't seen Solo, but
most people haven't.
I love Clint Howard appearances.
Oh man, he's great. He's like this rope. Like, let's talk about that. There's like robots fighting. And he's like the robot wrangler, and there's one robot who's the main character who's like, stop fighting and trying to liberate them and stuff, but he's like, get away, they're my fighting robots.
There's a very good chance that Clint Howard's scene was like a rewrite. Like, we got to rewrite this scene. We need a robot wrangler. I got just the man. His character, Clint Howard's character on Arrested Development, by the way, his name was Johnny Bark. He's a tree enthusiast.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
First idea, best idea.
He showed up towards the end of the last season of Star Trek Discovery too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is not a Ron Howard production, but when he was a child actor, he was on Star Trek as the little alien kid.
We watched that recently. Yeah.
So it was like, oh, that's a great bookend there.
Bookend.
He's
still gonna do stuff.
Yes, I don't know.
Cut through all the cynicism. We all like Clint Howard, right?
Yeah, Clint Howard is like good nepotism, like where it's just we're all okay with this.
Like,
that's why when you said Clint Howard's not back, I'm like, what? That's like the sweetest plum. That's like the thing for that.
And I feel like I would remember. I think the thing is that like Michael Cera is trying to break up with her. So he tries to do this rebellious thing where he like dyes his hair pink or something, but then they mess up and it's dyed red. So then everyone's like, wow, that's the Howard Red, the family Red. You're going to fit right in here. And it's just stuff like that. So I think it's like to make Ron Howard's family look very picturesque, and that Michael Cera doesn't want to be in it, I guess. So maybe that's why they excluded Ron Howard.
Clint
Howard, yeah.
Clint Howard with red hair would be too much.
Yeah.
It'd be like, whoa.
You take a minute to notice.
I mean, he just looked like a scary clown. You know?
So you finished the season, though?
I did. And I was kind of like, oh, it's over when I finished it. Like, I just left it on one night, started at like 5 or something, and just was drawing and stuff.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know. I laughed like once or twice. And they were all at Job.
We were talking about this last time, that you feel almost guilty that Will Arnett is the funniest part of that show.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the easiest character, like to make, the scumbag brother, like
He's
magician.
So
but like the older you get, you're like, no, he's really funny on that show. And he was kind of just born to do that. Do you know the story we've talked about? Neil and I have talked about this, the story behind Will Arnett getting into comedy acting.
Mm-mm.
Do we remember the Sex and the City story, Neil?
I don't know.
So Will Arnett was on Sex and the City playing a love interest, and he's doing like this scene where he's supposed to be in a doorway, just trying to be like sexy or something. He's supposed to like say something like cute before like he and this other woman like, I don't know, have sex or something. I have no idea. But basically Will Arnett is trying to act cool, and the director is like, hey, like, you're being a little too silly here. You got to like dial it down a bit. And he's like, I'm being serious. This is how I talk. Michael. But then that's like kind of when his agent was like, hey, you should get into comedy. Like, you're a funny guy. So since then he's
the best thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah. I assume it ends on some sort of tease for another season?
I guess. I think it's that, oh man, I can't remember any of their names. The mom? Not like Michael's mom, but Tobias's wife. She's running for office. Lindsay, thank you. She's running for office, and then they're kind of like, maybe is trying to screw her over. I was also kind of tuning out towards the end because it just wasn't doing anything for me, really.
Maybe had a good episode in the previous season. Like
she was, yeah. That's the other thing I remember that I said last time, is that maybe was one of my other favorite characters this time too. It's like maybe in Job.
Yeah,
and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll keep making it. Well, maybe they won't.
Yeah, who knows?
Because no one was happy with it.
Yeah.
And everyone was, even the cast was super unhappy with that re-edit of season 4.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, because they didn't get paid for it.
That's right.
And then there was the issue with Jeffrey Tambor. And then there was that disastrous interview where with like Jessica Walter, like, and all that stuff. There's like so much shit that's gone down in the last 30 days. Like the brand is like just getting dragged.
Dying.
Like, yeah.
She was the other one. It was like, it was her and Job and maybe who are like, I feel like the three of them can kind of just be themselves the whole time, and it doesn't, they can do whatever and they're funny.
Totally.
But
I never liked Job. You still haven't really seen the show, Neil, right?
I've watched. I think I'm still in the first season. I've never mainlined it. I've just watched like an episode here and there.
I feel like it's very easy to feel like you're late to the party on that show, and that there's certain things that you just like. If I wasn't there from day one,
I really wish I watched it before
all this stuff.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know.
It needed to be, because that's when I did it.
I'm glad I got through all of Larry Sanders years ago.
Oh yeah,
because Jeffrey. I think it might be on Hulu.
I need to watch that. I hear Simpsons fanatics tell me that it's super important to watch that.
It is, but it's a lot of it is Jeffrey Tambor.
But I feel like it's okay because he's like the butt of the joke a lot, similarly to the way that OJ is the butt of the joke in all the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, like, he plays an abusive asshole on the show.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of
sure. See, I haven't seen much of it. I just have seen some scenes of Larry Sanders giving it to him and like making fun of him and stuff.
Yeah, it might be between that and Gary Shandling having left us so young.
Right.
It might be like just too sad a show to watch now. But I will say Rip Torn is so good on it.
Oh, Rip Torn's on it?
Rip Torn is like the heart of the show.
Man.
It's really good.
I was thinking actually last month that I kind of wanted to watch it just because someone posted this like interview with him and who's the office guy from the British Office? Ricky Gervais. Yeah, it's like him and Ricky Gervais. And
Gary Shandling's just kind of making
jeez,
fun of him.
Yeah. It's like brutal to watch, and it's like 30 minutes.
What's Gary Shandling giving him shit about?
Oh, just everything.
Smarmy?
Just everything.
Yeah, he just kind of sees through him.
Yeah. He just sits there and he just is like, this is who you are. Why are you this weird way that you are? You're terrible.
I used to go up to bat for Ricky Gervais because the only things I had seen him in were him like defending atheism. Like, hey, we should be able to talk about this. And I'm like, yeah, rock on. And then after like 3-4 years of just hearing every time I heard about him, he was just being mean.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
being an atheist hasn't been a problem for Ricky Gervais in probably like 40 years.
Oh sure, but like when I say being mean, I don't mean
Yeah.
being an atheist, because I don't think defending atheism is a mean thing to do. Like,
No, yeah,
But
yeah.
like
Right.
when people, like every time I heard him hosting something, it was like he made like Seth MacFarlane look charming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just thought, like, what is the point of so.
Yeah, and it's like that. It's kind of amazing. I definitely recommend watching it. It's on YouTube, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that checks out.
It's yeah.
I believe it's on Daily Motion.
But it's great. Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta watch Gary Shandling. Well, I guess that was Media Current. So we're gonna take a quick pee break, and then we're gonna move on to our topic of the show, which is the Power Rangers franchise.
It'll be real great.
Well, we're back with the main meat of the show, which is the Power Rangers.
Do you say, when you say something's like the main course, do you say it's the steak and potatoes or
No,
the
I
meat and
always
potatoes?
say the main meat.
I like
guess.
main meat a lot.
I say steak and potatoes, and I think I got it from my dad.
Steak and
It's
potatoes.
like one of those. It's one of
yeah.
those like sayings that my family got wrong, and now I'm stuck with it too. Like,
What's the actual phrase?
meat and potatoes?
Yeah, meat and potatoes.
Steak and potatoes.
Yeah, it's like saying you can bring a jackass to water, but you can't make him drink. Let's supposed to say horse,
pretty
right?
close, yeah.
That same thing with me. Like, or when I say cat's ass instead of cat's pajamas.
Well, I love saying main meat. I think that's great.
Yeah. I think Power Rangers main meat was one season, right?
The main meat is the Mighty Morphing Power Rangers. Some M alliteration there.
Oh yeah, the main Mighty Meat Power Rangers.
But we're not just talking about the Mighty Morphing Power Rangers, because that is specifically the early Saban stuff, right?
Yeah,
That was the first season.
series. Yeah, first season. Yeah, whatever.
So just so everyone knows, what year, Neil, you were born in 86. I was born in 87. Jordan, you're 89?
89. Yeah.
Okay, so that will date us. So we were all the target demographic age for, let's say, the first 4 seasons.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I watched the first season or so, and I was just never like a fighting show kind of kid, so I didn't stick with it. Mm-hmm. But my younger brother Ben was obsessed with it in all its incarnations, and the Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
And so I ended up seeing a lot of it.
What about Beetleborgs Metallics?
Even Metallics.
Oh man.
Extreme Ghostbusters of Beetleborgs.
Yes. You know what? I'm gonna add. We gotta add. When the theme song for this episode plays, ding, 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 Metallics. We gotta add it.
I'll make a marker there so I know. Now, how old's your brother? When was Ben born?
Ben was born in 1993, so he was born the same year or the year before it premiered. So he grew up with the toys, and I don't know when he started watching He must have been watching it from a pretty young age.
He would have been 2 years old when the movie came out, so he must have just gone into it late in the game, right? Like,
No, because I think he was watching it as pretty much as a baby, because he was a very active kid and he was always play fighting and stuff. So yeah, I just grew up with someone who literally was born into Power Rangers and was obsessed with
That's
it.
funny. Yeah, I guess for me, like, because I was the same for the Batman cartoon. Like, I can't remember not watching it.
Yeah.
But I was, like 2 when it premiered.
sure.
But I remember watching it in that first run.
Yeah.
Like, all the way back then. I was probably 3 years old, but I was already doing it.
So I feel that was me with Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters. As a kid, every Saturday I would wake up, go down. I had my tape, I had a VHS tape that was my Ghostbusters tape, and I would tape the show. So if I had to have breakfast, I could leave the TV, hang out with my family, and come back. That was like my parents' way of making sure I had family time.
When you miss that tape, when you don't do it that 1 or 2 times,
or you hit record twice,
or
holy
something. Shit, your whole month is ruined. Honestly, for me, it was.
With Power Rangers might have been the first like contemporary thing I got into, because my mother has told me this numerous times that I was always into stuff that wasn't in vogue. Like Ghostbusters was like done when I was really getting into it. Well, I shouldn't say done because it's still selling stuff, but like in 1992 or whatever, like the second movie had been done for 3 years. I didn't see the second movie in theaters, I was just kind of late to the game. Power Rangers, I remember though, premiering in 95 93
earlier,
and just being super into it with every kid for maybe a year and a half, and then I just stopped watching.
Me too. Yeah.
So my prime time was the first 2 seasons. Was yours just after that, Jordan?
Mine was about the same, because I was way into it when all the Tommy stuff was happening and like that whole thing. And then there's a point where they are like, and it's clear now that they have just run out of footage.
Yeah.
And the next Sentai show is these samurai guys. So then they make them alien rangers, and then they turned all of the kids, the adults, into kids.
Yeah.
For like 10 episodes.
For those who don't know, the concept of Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Basically, Saban, Haim Saban,
copyright holder company.
Yeah.
He was a musician.
A person.
He was just involved in animation somehow, and he got into imports. He helped bring a lot of like anime over and stuff.
Basically reselling Japanese culture to Americans.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And one of his big projects, and I remember I was reading like an old Starlog magazine, and it had a little blurb about him trying to bring a Sentai show over.
Yep.
A full it was like 10 years before Power Rangers actually happened. So he was trying to do it for a long time.
Maybe like VR Troopers or Ultraman?
No, it was like, it was an earlier Sentai, and also Marvel was trying to do that before too.
Huh.
So yeah, Power Rangers was the culmination of this idea that Japan is producing these action shows, and we can just take the action scenes because the actors are in costumes, and then we can film them out of their costumes in America as American teens, and we'll package it for our kids.
You can just resync. You can just ADR all the dialogue when they're in the suits, so kids don't notice.
So what Power Rangers did was they would, as they ran out of footage, they would move on to other shows, or would they be sequels to the same show?
So they, like initially, because I've been doing these covers, so I've kind of, each cover is a different era, so I've kind of like studied each one, and basically what it seems like happened is that they knew that the suits that people associate with Power Rangers are the Jew Ranger suits, which are the dinosaur ones. So they're like, we don't want to change those because that's what people know. And it's funny because that is still the ones that people like the most, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
this is Jew Ranger?
Yeah, Jew Ranger, yeah.
Can you sing the theme song?
When I was first getting into Jew Ranger and watching some of it, I couldn't remember the full theme song. So I was like, oh man, it's like Jew Ranger, Jew Ranger, Jew Ranger, Jew Ranger, I love you. That's all I can think of.
I think about that all the time. It's really good.
That's the Japanese theme.
Yes,
it's not exactly.
They don't say "I love you."
No, Jew Ranger, is that the footage that became Mighty Morphing Power Rangers?
Yeah, that was the
first
series.
2 seasons?
Yeah, and that show is awesome.
Yeah,
I live really quick. That show's awesome because it's basically, I actually figured out how to pitch this finally to someone. It's like if an early Final Fantasy game, all the main characters of it, just like halfway through the game, just hibernated for 1,000,000 years. And then they woke up in the present day, and then that's the rest of the video game. Like it's all like JRPG tropes and stuff.
Was it? Sorry, you said Jew Rangers. That's
Jew
It's
Ranger.
ZYU.
It's ZY, but in Japanese it's like Jew Ranger. Yeah.
Okay. Were they high schoolers in present day when
they
woke up?
They were that age. They were all like 20.
Yeah. Okay, but they weren't in high school. So all the Angel Grove stuff was shot
There's
in
no
America.
Bulk and Skull. But all the villain stuff is from that.
Oh, yeah.
Rita Repulsa,
and all
Lord
of her
Zed.
dudes.
Do you guys know?
Lord Zed is the first one that is not.
Oh,
they
right.
made Lord Zed for for Mighty
Which
Morphin.
explains because his character design is fantastic. It's so Western.
He's
got
just
muscles
the big brain.
and brains.
He's so 90s boys.
He's got like the visor that Kid Vid and Daxter plastic.
Yeah.
He's Jewish apparently.
That's their go-to a lot. Like also
When he marries Rita Repulsa, they do have
They
a
step
Jewish
on
wedding.
the-
How did they reshoot stuff with Rita Repulsa when
they
were...
hired different actresses, to come in and be Rita. So there's one who did it up through the movie after, and then actually they also eventually did pay Toei to make more G-Ranger footage to use.
Cool.
So they had more also, and then they also had to be like, well, this is all too violent, so we can only use this stuff, and that was all the cool stuff. But yeah, so then I think there were 3 Ritas altogether.
Yeah.
And so anyway, going back to what we were talking about, they were on to the next series, which is Kaku Ranger, I believe, and they were all like clearly samurai themed or ninja themed, but
they had to come up with these excuses
Yeah.
in the continuity of Power Rangers. Like, hey, how come they look like samurais now? Like, oh, well, these fish
they're
alien
from
people.
the alien world of Aquitar, and they all look like they're from Space Cases.
I hated that. That was totally when I stopped.
Yeah, that's when I stopped too.
No, I wouldn't even say no, because I stopped when they recast a bunch of the Rangers. Basically, right after the movie came out, I was kind of done.
Yeah.
And then you'd still, it was on like 4:00 in the afternoon after school. I would turn on TV on Fox, and I would see like, oh yeah, it's that stupid fish one. I can't wait for them to bring back
just
the
be
real
like, come
Power
back.
Rangers.
Yeah. And then I think I tuned out by the time they did, but Billy and Kimberly are always my favorites.
Yeah.
And Kimberly left early, so I was like, okay, well, whatever.
Amy Jo Johnson went off to do Susie Q for Disney.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite movies.
I own it.
Do you?
Bootleg
Oh
of
my
it.
God, I love that
Nice.
movie. But anyway, yeah. So then they like finally figure out like maybe 4 seasons in that they're like, oh, we should just have them like whoever can give up whatever power, and then they just adhere to the suits that we have. And it took them a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
So then finally around like the end of the Zordon era where they like kill Zordon, it's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, like the bad guys steal Zordon. It's like all the bad guys. And they have this guy who's clearly like a Luke Skywalker one because they do in space.
Yeah.
And he has to kill Zordon, and then like this big light from Zordon like destroys every bad guy or reforms them, which is weird.
Yeah.
It like brainwashes them to be a good guy or something. Or maybe they were poisoned before, I guess.
Sure.
Rita and Zed turn into like 2 very plain looking people and like just start dancing. It's very Lynchian, like David Lynch almost. It just is like these 2 people. It's like that kid dancing in the hallway in Twin Peaks.
When I look back at the syncing, you'd have these actors go in like David East. David, is that
Yost.
Yes,
Yost,
going
yeah.
in. David East is the video game company. Data East is why I'm completely. But like all of them coming in and like doing ADR work and voiceover work to match these action scenes, they could never quite match the head
Right.
movements, because like the Japanese actors are doing like stage acting,
Right.
Like they're like, no one's gonna be able to see my face, so the emotion I have to convey is through my jaw and like my shoulder movements.
Right.
So how on earth is Amy Jo Johnson supposed to match this
Right.
stuff when they're saying different things?
Yeah.
I think kids back in the 90s were even kind of into that. I think kids, that was sort of their first exposure to like the equivalent of like kung fu movies, where
Yes.
people who, I think Americans who are, or anyone out west who doesn't speak Japanese who was into kung fu stuff that had the bad translations and dubs at the time, that was kind of part of the fun.
It is.
It was like the voices not matching and everything, even if the performances were good.
And I think that's why a lot of like little kids got into Power Rangers, is because it
Yeah.
was so overly emotive.
Surreal. Almost.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
colorful. Like you wouldn't think like, this like fighting action show would appeal to like 2-year-olds, but it totally did.
So it's funny that in the 1995 movie, when they suddenly dumped a bunch of money into making this big Hollywood film, they still dubbed Rita Repulsa with the original voice actor from the show too. Like, so you had someone on set saying these lines. They must have known that, you're going to get dubbed later because you got to have that crazy Rita voice. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
definitely.
I love Rita.
But she is like very clearly dubbed in the movie, and it's not like a Kung Pao Enter the Fist level absurd, but it is like a weird a non-diegetic thing in the movie where it's just like,
Their
there's just
power.
one character who's clearly dubbed all the time for some reason.
It's like supernatural. Like the voice is almost like omnipresent, like in a
Yeah.
weird way.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of her magical power, maybe.
Exactly. That's what I like. Yeah. So we all saw the 1995 movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Neil, you've seen it a lot.
Well, yeah, we had it on tape. My brother watched it all the time. And I remember, like, if I was having trouble going to sleep or I was afraid of having nightmares or something, the movie was just so ingrained in my head that I could just kind of close my eyes and rewatch the movie.
Wow.
Because I was like, oh, it's impossible to feel scared while I'm watching
Right.
Bulk and Skull jump out of a plane, listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know?
Man, you guys all saw Batman and Robin, right? When I saw that movie in theaters, I thought, hey, they're ripping off Power Rangers. Because the opening, the skydive, you got
Yeah. I remember in our original draft for Computer Fighters, we really wanted to rip off. I mean, we ripped off the Power Rangers movie
by
in several
accident.
ways.
By accident. But we specifically wanted to do
We specifically wanted to have it start with us jumping out of a plane or rollerblading.
No,
and
we were going to rollerblade to
Yeah.
the arcade.
We were going to rollerblade to the arcade, and as soon as we put on the rollerblades,
Stuntmen.
we turn into stuntmen.
Yeah, like
And
clearly
just like
stuntmen.
wearing the same colors as us.
Yeah,
and
different
doing
heights,
flips and
girths,
stuff.
musculature, haircuts.
I
Like,
love that.
But wait, well, I originally it is very Power Rangers the movie, but it's also very Mighty Ducks 2.
Yes.
D2. Yeah.
Yep.
When we were done, we were like halfway through making Computer Fighters. We were editing, and that's when we realized, oh, this is just totally the Power Rangers. Like, like it's like well, that's the attitude we wanted. Like all the line deliveries, like, you know, when we're doing the duck puns and stuff. Like we could have gone further, I guess. Like
Yeah, having like a scummy bully who's not the main villain.
yeah, it gets redeemed. Yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah, Bulk and Skull.
I guess they had a lot of stuff cut out of the movie. Bulk and Skull.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm very
they filmed
curious.
the movies. They shot like 2 hours of movie.
Oh, really?
And they had to make it like 80 minutes or something.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I imagine they just show up and go, probably, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Jordan? So you've seen it twice?
I saw it twice. I saw it once as a kid at some other friend's house or something, and then like about 2 years ago with Neil, and
Did I watch it with both of you at the same time or separately?
I think
Separately.
I
Okay,
remember
I guess
Ming
I watched
yelling
it
at
in
me.
pretty
I
quick
remember Ming
succession.
going, "You made us watch that stupid movie." And I was like, "What? You watched it without me?" And you're like, "Some people were over. We had to watch something."
Oh, yeah.
it was me and Joe and Ming, and then we picked the Power Rangers, and Ming was so mad.
It's so quick though.
It is quick.
Was she really mad?
She wasn't really mad.
She was probably just like tired and didn't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
be
it's
spending
fine.
part of her life watching.
Yeah,
It's so
why?
fast.
Yeah.
It's like years ago, I lived in Waltham with one of my best friends, Anthony Guillen, and Tim Thompson, and I, and my buddy Steve Bailey decided, hey, let's watch the Power Rangers movie. So we put it on, and everyone got excited. We ordered pizza, and like an hour later, it was over. And we're
Yeah.
like, shit, that movie's so quick. So then we were like, well, what else could we watch? We put on the Mortal Kombat movie,
Nice.
which came
That's
out
great.
like a week later, same year. That movie holds up. That's a great movie. Anyway,
Oh man, that's a great double feature.
So you've seen it like maybe 2 years ago, and then back in '95.
Yeah, and at the time I was way not into it because it's like all the stuff I like about Power Rangers is excised from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And notably for me at the end, they do like some pretty awesome CGI that is
Awesome with an asterisk.
yeah. But and it's like, why did you guys do that when you can just? Because the even weirder thing is that those existed in real life.
Yeah.
Like they made those suits were from
Yep.
the other show.
Yeah.
And they just didn't do it.
So if you haven't seen the Power Rangers movie,
also they take away the suits too for
It's-
like most of the movie.
I feel like
Yeah.
the end of the Power Rangers movie is such a monkey's paw thing, because as a kid you're like, yeah, like I want to see like
yeah, real.
like these robots and like knocking over buildings and shit. And then like when you watch it as an adult, it like nothing of real consequence happens. They do not interact with buildings because that'd be far too expensive. And then you get to be an adult, and like, oh, the
there is-
Transformers movie's coming out.
There is like a monorail thing that's kind of, I think, it's very similar to the Batman Begins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. There's that. But so for,
Very
apparently,
similar, but there's a train in both.
I did some research on this morning over coffee, and apparently they made suits for the minions that Ivan Ooze 6 on the Power Rangers, and then they did test shoots in the studio was like, this looks so low rent. So they gave him a little more money and just said, hold on to the suits. And the suits, they were like rat monsters, came back in the next season of Power Rangers.
Yep.
So it was good enough for the Power Rangers show, but not the movie. So in the movie,
Are we talking about like the ooze monsters?
yeah, the giant ooze monsters, and they look so bad. Even as a kid, I'm like, this is terrible looking.
Man.
It was like
They're like purple. They kind of got dreadlocks or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
There is a cool effect though when they are defeated. These goons. They
no, not the goons, the giant robots.
Oh,
The goons
and-
look cool.
Yeah, I like the goons because they turn into jelly when they just like splatter. It's kind of a cool jump cut when they get.
Oh, those are great. I
Yeah.
like those. The birds.
Oh, and the birds too.
Yeah, they're sentient too. They talk. Hey, Ivan, you want us to go kill the Power Rangers? Like they do. Yes.
What I love about it,
That's like 80%
after those birds fail Ivan Ooze, he kills them all. It's great. He just snaps his fingers and they all die.
All right, you have
man.
one go at this. Because it's like the screenwriter is going like, all right, so why don't the birds just, I don't know, try again? There's no like urgency to this plot. Why don't they just try a second time?
So who are you talking about? The robots?
Zords.
The Zords.
Oh,
Like-
just so the Power Rangers actually, yeah.
No, the Zords and the don't you guys remember?
Wait, does he have his own robot?
Yeah, he makes two robots.
Okay,
It's
all
like,
right,
it's
yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah, he like manifests these two
Apparently, I
robots.
haven't seen it as many times.
I guess
as
we,
think.
yeah, we need to watch it again.
So the Zord, so like, so okay, let's break down the plot.
please.
All right, guys, I gotta familiarize you with the movie. Before
First
I
off,
quiz you on it.
Ivan Ooze is the main villain. He's a creation of the Americans. What are you pointing at?
Oh,
Ivan
yeah.
Ooze.
He's right there, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Joe has a Temple of Doom poster.
Okay, but I know what you mean.
Okay.
Ivan Ooze was Belloc in the first Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
actor.
yeah.
Kevin was pointing at a different Indiana Jones poster in the room. I forget his name, but he's cool. I think he brings
Paul Freeman.
I think he brings energy to the role of Ivan Ooze.
He does.
The original purple alien.
Who comes to kill all the
Comes to town.
superheroes.
Yeah.
He gets unearthed.
Yeah, he's so bad that he is rude to the normal villains, Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed,
Yeah.
and traps them in a little cup or something.
What I love is that he's been trapped for 6,000 years, which is like
Twice as
kind
long
of
as
not
Rita
that
Repulsa.
yeah, it's like not that phenomenal amount of time. Like 6,000 years. Like we still have like records from 6,000.
Oh, yeah, because Rita is 10,000 years, right?
Oh, really? Oh.
Wasn't it in the show? Doesn't she say after 10,000 years
Yeah,
I'm
it's
free?
gotta be. So
Okay,
what's
so he
6,000?
was.
Yeah.
Oh, so he took over for her.
then
Yeah.
then
Zordon also got him.
I was called I always called him the Sultan. Zordon
Sultan.
Sultan takes over. So anyways, the Power Rangers
Zardoz.
the Power Rangers try and beat him up and they can't do it. So they go to an alien planet, learn new ninja skills, come back. And
No,
beat
they
him
go
up.
to the alien planet because Zordon is in a coma.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah. And
because
they-
Alpha 5
and-
can't save him.
And the movie is just like, we know that the show says that Zordon is somewhere else, but in
Yeah.
this movie, Zordon lives in the tube.
yeah, you like.
I never knew he was a remote.
It's like if you broke
Skyping
open a
anything.
telephone and the person was
Yeah,
inside.
because like I feel like they've said a lot in the show that like Zordon,
I'm communicating from.
from elsewhere.
Oh, I didn't remember that
He's
detail.
he's
yeah,
like
in
trapped
the
in a
movie,
dimension or something.
they crack open his aquarium and he's just in there. He looks like a Hellraiser or
He's like-
something. and
He
he's
looks like a mix between Marlon Brando and Superman the movie and Hellraiser.
yeah. And he's wearing basically a large prune costume.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the guy's? Is in the show he was
Wearing a
voiced
body
by George. No,
Oh, it's David, I think.
I always thought as a kid, Zordon sounded like some 20-year-old guy doing a deep voice. Yeah. I don't really sound like this, but this is what your father sounds like.
Your father, Zordon.
I'm
Robert L. Monahan or David Fielding,
David Fielding, I think, is the.
the right guy.
I think so.
Why did I think?
Who is the guy? I think is he the voice of Zordon or something? Who was on a lot of Tim and Eric stuff?
That might be him.
Not Zordon. Maybe he's the voice of Lord Zed.
maybe.
I thought it was George Newbern. I really thought George Newbern was the voice of him. My bad.
There's a guy. He's this old guy. He looks like he shows up on Check It Out a lot. And I was like, man,
How old is he?
I don't know how old he is. He's a Tim and Eric actor, so he's not he seems like he's not a natural performer.
Right.
But then you look him up and like, oh, he did a bunch of stuff. He did a bunch of like voice acting, and I think he was Lord Zed or something.
Lord Zed should always have been screaming in pain. That'd be a great fan dub. It's just Lord Zed. Anyway, so Lord Zed and Rita get beaten up too by Ivan Ooze. So the Power Rangers, Zordon.
We don't need to go through the whole movie.
Yeah,
do we?
okay, but like it's like a real Rocky III situation here, or a Dark Knight Rises, where the Power Rangers need to learn how to fight again. So they learn how to fight. They get different Zords. They come back. They beat them up.
Yeah, and they win.
And they kick them into a comet.
They turn into CGI, mid-90s CGI for kids.
Yep.
I think it looks kind of cool because it's got that weird... It looks surreal because everything's so shiny and reflective.
Because that's actually a really easy thing to do in CG.
Yeah, it's just they basically just like they take a picture of the background and they kind of map it on as a reflection.
Right.
Yeah, that's like the first thing you do with like realistic light rendering.
Yeah, that's why
like the T1000 did it
or
in 1991.
the Flight of the Navigator, that spaceship from 1986.
Or Mario 64.
Yeah,
like which was running on a $199 plastic box you could buy.
Yeah.
At the time. So like it was really low rent.
But it's very of the time.
And
yeah,
You're selling me on it. I like, the big thing for me is just that, like, man, if I'm seeing a Power Rangers movie, I want to see him in those suits fighting.
Yep.
And that's maybe 5 minutes of that film.
They do it at the beginning. They fight the ooze monsters.
And then they get the crappy costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get like ninja costumes.
Power Rangers always goes like immediately into like the jungle and like borderline like Dungeons and Dragons-y stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they almost messed even that up. The suits, you know the deal, right?
With the visors where they tried to have them open or something.
They shot that scene that way.
Yeah.
And word got out through like Starlog magazine or something, and people were like, "What is your problem?" You can find photos of this, like the suits. The faces were going to open up and look kind of like the new movie did, like once or twice or whatever. So you could like read the actors to connect with them in the suits, which is, I think, after Iron Man, it's been proven you just don't need to do that.
No.
Right? I mean, they still do it with Iron Man, come to think of it.
The big thing is, I think, having it open up at certain points and then close again.
Yeah.
That's everyone's helmets are automated now to do that. I feel like that's what they wanted to do, but they didn't realize that that wasn't a possibility back then, I feel like.
Totally. I mean, nowadays, whenever someone has a mask that covers their face in a movie, it gets broken almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time Captain America had that awful mask on his face? He looks so bad in Avengers.
I forgot he has that mask.
It's
horrible.
It gets better. Like, I think
he doesn't wear it anymore. Though.
I liked it. I think it looked the best in Winter Soldier because they make it a little like it looks really bad in Avengers. That's
the worst it ever.
That's
looked,
the worst,
which is
one.
weird because it's not the first time. Like the first movie, it looked bad. The second movie, you expect some work to be done.
Yeah, they tweak it a little bit each time. I think Winter Soldier it looks good, and it looks good in Civil War, and then he's kind of to the point where he just doesn't wear it anymore.
But yeah, with Power Rangers, they redesigned the suits. I mean, they kind of just amped them up though from the show, right?
Yeah,
they're basically the same.
They have like lights,
similar.
And stuff.
The lights and like
depth
Cyclops
cues.
Visors at one point. One of them, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was honestly to make it so the lights would catch on them more and they would cast shadows and look more cinematic.
Yeah,
because the TV show they're like plexiglass.
Yeah, plexiglass and just like spandex,
so they could fight in them. The movie suits weighed like 40 pounds.
Yeah, they look pretty puffy when you look at them now. It's like leather, and they're all kind of like, especially the White Ranger is just the Michelin Man. Kind of.
I agree with you 100%. Even as a kid, I'm like, can they like come back to Angel Grove and like fight before they go in the Zords? Because it's like after like the third episode you've watched of that show, you just know it's like Popeye with spinach. You just know what's going to happen. You know the math of every episode. And with the movie, you're like, oh, are they just going to come back from learning this ninja stuff? And
Just go right to it. Yeah.
You're like, they didn't use the ninja stuff.
The
Well,
other
no,
thing-
they fought dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They do fight a giant skeletal dinosaur
skeleton.
puppet. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
That part's
yeah.
cool. That part's cool.
I hope-
yeah.
That's a huge puppet they built.
It was really
Yeah.
cool looking.
The other thing that's funny to me is that when they get their new coins, they just all have dinosaur helmets still. It's fine, you guys.
Max Pacheco once told me that when he was a kid, his mom was a little concerned over how much he liked Power Rangers. She's like, "What? So why do you like Power Rangers so much?" He's like, "Oh, it's like this cool show about like dinosaurs." He goes, "Oh, let me watch one with you." His mom sits down and watches an episode of Power Rangers, and the credits start to roll, and she goes, "Max, that had nothing to do with dinosaurs." Max is like 8 years old or whatever, and that's when it hits him that this is like the dumbest show. He stopped watching. The dinosaurs really are just wallpaper.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
like, what is the cool thing that they look like? This dinosaurs. It's like what a kid's like.
Jurassic Park had come out in '93.
They were lucky, yeah, because they almost did another one. You wonder because they almost did another one before that called Jetman, which they were all like bird themed, which I do like. I do like those designs, but I do think that
Wasn't a big year for birds.
no, and it was because that one was like the 1990, and then 1992 I think was Jew Ranger, and it was dinosaurs, and they're like, great, we'll do the dinosaurs, and then Power Rangers I think was 93. Like it was really quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just all worked out. Thank you, Steven Spielberg, and everything else. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, dinosaurs were the biggest deal in the 90s. It's so funny.
Dinosaurs, the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
We're
like
back, a dinosaur.
in trying to brand dinosaurs was this hilarious arms race where Jurassic Park toys had JP tattooed on the dinosaur,
Yes.
which is a trash idea, but it's done so. Like, hey, even in the commercials, they were like, and just make sure when you get your toy, it says JP on it, because if you don't, it's not the real thing. Like that was
we
like
can't copyright dinosaurs because they're real.
so everyone and their mother's like, let's just make a dinosaur movie. Nowadays, you can't make a ripoff of Iron Man.
No,
'Cause, like it's
too
just not-
specific.
yeah, it's too brand centric, and so that was kind of a fun thing about the mid '90s. Yeah, there was dinosaurs in Power Rangers,
And they were up for grabs, you know? Anyone can do a dinosaur thing. Roger Corman.
Did you do Carnosaur?
I think that was him. Yeah, Carnosaur.
I saw Carnosaur as a kid somehow, and it like I remember just them breaking out of eggs and eating people in their fridge or something. It's a weird movie, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we need to graduate this podcast onto the quiz for episode 9.
Actually, I do have one question for you, and I'm assuming the answer is no, but have any of you watched any of the later Power Rangers from like the last 20 years?
Oh yes, I have.
You have?
I've watched a bunch because what I do, I'll do a cover for each series, or that's what we've been doing, and I'll just turn it on and leave it on because they're all on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool since I checked out when I was little, just to kind of see where things go.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I was saying, where like Zordon dies and stuff, and that's kind of like a fun wrap up to the Mighty Morphin era.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of go from there and start doing their own thing. And then eventually Disney buys it.
Yeah.
And they make some of what people think are the best seasons.
Turbo or
Turbo is still in the Mighty Morphin era.
What about the police Power Rangers where they have badges?
That's like right after
Zordon dies?
Yeah, Zordon dies.
So that's before Disney bought it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like,
I'm learning so much.
yeah, I know.
I'm like,
it is
literally-
interesting.
yeah.
It's like Mighty Morphin and then the Alien Rangers.
I would love to test you to how many season names can you rattle off?
I should have made that a quiz question. Like, which one of these is a bullshit?
I have a Twitter account that I never update, but it's all just fake Power Rangers seasons.
What? Really?
It's called Rangers in Space.
Oh my god. Well,
So it's all like Power Rangers Lightspeed Bargains. Power Rangers Infinite Leg.
See, Jordan, the funny thing is, we were talking about doing this episode. Jordan's like, I don't know if I'm familiar with Power Rangers enough to do the quiz.
yeah.
I know this was kind of something where like we started with you. We were like, what's something we could do with Jordan? But I actually know people who know way more about Power Rangers than you do.
Yeah.
You
We
know
probably
plenty.
should have had them.
You know plenty. So we're
Should have my brother. He knows all
Oh
this
yeah, we
stuff.
should have. It should have been both of us. We could do another
We'll
one.
do a part 2.
Let's do it. Yeah.
We'll go deep into
we
the
could talk.
Rangers
I would love
lore.
We could
that.
talk maybe about the newer movie in the next one because I I saw the new movie.
I need to watch it.
Joe Botch and I went at like 11 o'clock in the morning to the Assembly Row movie theater, and we were just in the theater. It was him and me drinking coffee or whatever, and the only other people in the theater were dudes that looked just like us, they're like three other like 30-year-old dudes who were like
weirdly
I just kind of want to see this movie. Everyone probably had Movie Pass,
Right?
Like let's just see. I kind of liked it. I don't hold Power Rangers in any high esteem. I just was into what little I had heard about it. There were a few. I remember going into the movie. There was like, I don't know if you call it controversy, but some people were upset that like the suits were somewhat sexualized.
Oh yeah, because they have like the girls have.
They have like
giant boob plates on their.
Yeah, and kind of like organic. They had like organic heels on their feet. Or something.
That's true. They were like wedges.
It was a little Cronenberg or whatever.
Yeah.
I looked at it. I'm like, I've seen way worse. Let's
Sure.
like in that respect, like, but like the worst stuff I'm thinking about is like early '90s superhero stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the movie. It's not a home run by any stretch, but there were like a surprising amount of jokes that landed for me.
The kids are really good in it.
Yes,
I think that's the best thing it has going for it is
Absolutely.
they assembled a really likable, fun cast.
They're written. I think their relationships are written well.
Yeah, you get them. They get a lot to do together.
Yeah.
I do wish there was more power. I need more Power Rangers in my Power Rangers movies.
They
keep
wait like
taking
an
it away from
hour
me.
and change.
Yeah, just let them. Just give it to him and go.
Bill Hader has some good stuff in that movie as Alpha 5, training them Karate
Yeah,
Kid
I do
style.
I do like their Alpha 5. Yeah.
They even like lament in the movie, like, we've been training for like,
Yeah. Can we please
can
just
we please
do it?
this? Yeah. Like people
Yeah.
show. I mean, like I get it. I get like, but the movie, does it have an action scene in the first act?
Isn't it? Is it?
It opens.
You know what?
It
It's
opens
the
with
opening.
Zordon.
That's the
right?
thing is that they try to
That's
have
their
that
Krypton. That's their
to bide you over for a little bit.
Yeah, because like I still was entertained by what I saw. There's like a car chase or something too, but
Oh yeah.
The by the time they Power Ranger up, you're like, you know what? This is why you kind of need like Spider-Man stops a bank robbery,
Right.
and then something else
Right.
happens. You need
Something.
Superman catching the airplane, and then the other stuff happens. There needs to be one.
Just throw them in there. Throw them in those suits in like 20 minutes in.
Yeah,
and they can lose them or something halfway and get them back. I don't know.
Elizabeth Banks is so good in that.
She was great. Yeah, she was great.
Gold.
Elizabeth Banks is the one who the kids are good, but Elizabeth Banks is the one who is like, I'm in a Power Rangers movie. I am the villain in a Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
I am aware of this. I'm gonna just own it, and she does.
She has so much fun.
Yeah.
The jewelry store scene.
Yeah.
You got to see it now.
All right,
It's
all
on
right.
Amazon.
Let's watch
It's on
it.
Amazon.
I think
I'll
it's
watch
on
it.
Amazon and Hulu. I think.
I'll watch
So-
the shit out of that movie again.
All right. Yeah, I'd do that. Let's just watch both of them maybe one day.
Oh, don't forget, there's also the Power Rangers Turbo movie, which we completely glossed
Yeah, so
over.
that's the
brought
other-
back some of the original cast for it.
They
right?
did.
Is that the one where one of the Rangers is a little kid?
Yes.
Yeah, because they imply
Yes.
that at the end of Mighty Morphing Power Rangers the movie.
Yeah, but it's a different kid.
It's a different kid, and it's they actually did that in Super Sentai first. That's where they got the idea from.
Yeah, because when he morphs into an adult because they're not having a child
Right.
stunt
It's Captain
fighter,
Marvel.
you know?
Yeah, it is. And actually, the first one I think who did that was the White Ranger in his show. That they got that suit from was actually a kid, and they have like cool gifs of him like skateboarding and stuff. Like great.
It'll be real great.
All right, so we're back from our break, and we're about to have our episode's quiz, which is on the 1995 film Mighty Morphing Power Rangers the movie.
Wow, what a coincidence.
I know,
We were
right?
just talking about it.
Yeah.
Planets aligned for this one. The way it's going to go is this. I'm going to ask each of you 5 multiple choice questions. I'm going to provide 4 answers. One of them is correct. And then we have a lightning round where you're going to have to write down an answer.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Neil Ciceriga. Question 1. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie soundtrack's debut single, Trouble, was originally released a year earlier in 1994 by this UK duo, and it rose all the way to the number 11 spot in 1994 when the movie came out in America. Like no one gave a damn. What was the name of this band? Was it Two Fluorides, Fabulous, Aqua, or Shampoo?
Ooh,
I can do it one more time. A, Two Fluorides. B, Fabulous, with an exclamation point. C, Aqua. Or
not Aqua.
D, Shampoo.
I know the song. I know the
actually
song
really
so
like that
well.
song.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's sort of a fake Spice Girls kind of.
Yeah.
I should know that. I shouldn't know this, but I should know this. Two Fluorides is such a weird name. I almost want to say that's it, but I'm going to go with Fabulous.
Sorry, my friend. It was Shampoo.
Yeah.
Two Fluorides is just a name I made up.
Pretty good.
You could win a spot in the music video.
Ooh.
Remember this? You could if you won a call-in contest, you could be in the
cool.
music video.
We watched that music video too when we watched the movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, it is
Pretty good.
Jordan, question 1. At the start of the film, several construction workers come upon Ivan Ooze's prison. This is where Zordon banished him 6,000 years ago. What was Ivan Ooze imprisoned in? A, a coin. B, an egg. C, a geode. Or D, a tree. A coin, an egg, a rock, or a tree.
I love the idea of guys finding a whole tree
It's like
in a construction site. I believe it's an egg.
correct.
Okay.
You're right. Then it would be. That's a good image. What is this?
Some kind of tree.
Neil.
Yes.
Just before crippling Zordon and leaving him for dead, Ivan Ooze quips, quote, "It's time to pay the piper." What does Ivan then present?
A pipe.
It's a pipe.
It's a flute.
Do you remember like kids your age being like, Ivan's the worst one? Like he's the baddest bad guy.
He's the
Power
dark
Rangers.
side.
Yes.
He's the, so he, okay, my answers were a pipe, a sword, a gun, or a rock. Gun. It's time to pay the piper.
No, I remember.
With a Glock.
It's
Like the Riddler. It's kind of that scene, which is weird because Batman Forever came out the same
very
summer.
similar. Yeah.
no, I remember he has a magic flute that he uses like twice.
And they're like, got the flute. The flute's. All right, Jordan. In Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, the Rangers must travel to an alien planet to train and learn the mystical powers of the Ninjetti from Dulcea. What planet do they travel to?
Oh, shit.
Zordos, Titan, Tarkek, Phaedos. That's
man.
A, Zordos. B, Titan. C, Tarkek. D, Phaedos.
I feel like it's Phaedos.
Correct.
Okay. Phaedos is so like the type of
Yeah.
fake sci-fi word that they would pick.
I think he even says it in the trailer.
Oh,
Ivan says it. So that's why I picked that. Go to Phaedos. And he
Yeah, how
sends the birds after him. Yeah. And then they fail and they fly back to Earth. Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't beat him.
Sorry.
These like birdmen flying through space is a hilarious
It's a missed opportunity. All right. They show that in the movie?
I
Like
think
Superman
so.
4, Nuclear Man
Oh,
style?
man.
Like that? Okay. Neil, what is the production budget for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie?
Low.
Is it 15 million, 35 million, 55 million, or 75 million? 15, 35, 55, 75.
I'm gonna go with my reason being there's a little bit of CGI, which was expensive, but there's no one of note in the film, so I'm going with 35.
Incorrect. It was 15.
Oh, I went too high. I was thinking, they got Belloc. He probably commanded it.
They
No.
They actually reshot like a third of the movie too. You gotta wonder where the hell, like, how cheap was this movie to
Yeah.
make? And it was a summer release too. Okay.
Yeah, I guess, 35 was kind of a lot back then.
Mm-hmm. Well, like Terminator got made for 100 in 90, 91.
Uh-huh.
That was like a big deal.
That's a real movie.
Yeah. Jordan. The Power Rangers use their Zords to defeat Ivan Ooze. Spoilers.
What?
What are the names of Ivan's giant war machines, the Titans he unearths to destroy civilization?
Oh, right. I remember them.
Are
now.
they-
Okay, yeah.
The Power Replicons, the Ectomorphicons, the Ooze Destroyers, or Christomorphers?
Oh man.
Power Replicons, Ectomorphicons, Ooze Destroyers, Christomorphers.
This one's really good.
I came up with these answers. I was like,
God. Yeah, they're all like perfect Saban speak.
you gotta hear.
Sebanese.
You gotta imagine his voice going, "Bring me the Ooze Destroyers."
What was the second one?
Ectomorphicons.
And the first one was the
Power Replicon.
Power Replicons. Replicons? Oh man. It's between those two. I gotta go with the first one, I think.
Which was
The Power Replicons?
it's actually Ectomorphicons.
All right, I knew it. It was
That
one of those
rang a
two.
bell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I can hear him saying it.
Yeah.
I had so much fun coming up.
Those were great. That was my gut, was the Ecto one, but I was like, oh, they are supposed to be, they're like replicated of the, yeah.
And Ecto's like Ghostbusters
Yeah.
stuff. Like, why is
Yeah, why is that? Because it's spooky and purple, I guess.
Neil? After an extensive promotional campaign, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie debuted on June 30th, 1995, in 4th place. Which of these films didn't outgross Power Rangers that weekend? So I'm going to name 4 movies.
Yep.
3 of these beat it that weekend.
All right. And I have to pick the one that
The one that didn't do better.
Okay.
Apollo 13, Batman Forever, Judge Dredd, Pocahontas. Now, I'm not saying these all came out the same weekend, but 3 of these movies were making more money the weekend Power Rangers premiered. Apollo 13, Batman Forever, Judge Dredd, Pocahontas. The summer of mediocrity.
Man. I feel like there's a trick in here. Like one of these wasn't out in theaters yet or something.
No trick.
Okay. I'm going to say Judge Dredd then.
Correct. Which actually premiered the same day as Power Rangers.
Man.
But it still didn't do better than Power Rangers?
Yeah, it came in 5th. And Batman Forever was a holdover.
Yeah, Batman Forever was doing fine.
Batman Forever made a
Pocahontas.
Filthy amount of money.
It was
Yeah.
a huge deal. I remember that.
Man, that's really sad for Judge Dredd.
Well, that the whole
Because it's not a better movie, but it's arguably, it should have done better.
Yeah.
I
It's kind of
kind
just
of
a
like it.
lateral film.
it looks cool.
It's
it
not
does,
for
It does look cool.
It looks pretty cool
at times.
The score is Al Silvestri, right?
Oh, is it?
I think so.
It does have a really
All right.
cool practical effects robot in it. Which,
Yeah,
which
the
is
bigger
always
You know
good.
what?
Terminator.
It's better than Power Rangers. It's better than Power Rangers.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. Question 4. Before enacting his genius masterclass plan to enslave mankind through magic ooze, how does Ivan Ooze trap Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa? Does he trap them in a snow globe, in a slime crystal, on the moon, or in a safe?
I believe it's a snow globe.
Correct.
Yeah.
I almost spoiled this earlier, but I couldn't
I
remember
know,
the
I
word
know.
snow globe.
I have back.
So I said, oh, he trapped them in a cup.
I was trying to. All right, back to Neil for question 5. Ivan Ooze proclaims he is, quote, a master
God.
of disguise. What does he disguise himself as to sell his magic purple ooze to children? Does he disguise himself as their parents, a clown, an athlete, or the Power Rangers?
Kevin, he disguises himself as a wizard. This is a trick question.
I thought he was a clown.
oh,
All right, whatever. You're right. I'll give it to you.
he's a
I think
wizard.
he looks a lot like a clown to me.
He's a wizard?
He dresses as a wizard,
All right, well,
and he speaks in
all
rhyme.
right, so either way, I'm going to
remember
give it
this.
to
Let
you.
me see here.
It's not a clown.
Either way, I'm going to give it to you. Ivan.
He might have some makeup on, but I feel
All right,
like
well, this is going to be our thumbnail.
Okay.
Ooze disguise.
Wizard. Yeah, wizard comes up. Let's see. Oh, man.
Okay, Ivan Ooze clown comes up too.
Oh, man. No, that's wizard if I've ever seen a wizard.
there might be a little bit of like clown music playing.
Oh my god, you guys. Power Rangers.wikia. His primary disguise has a wizard/clown.
Well,
Well, I read it as a okay.
he looks pretty wizardy in it.
Yeah,
That's a wizard.
that's a wizard.
Okay,
Maybe
but
his antics
the
are
Power
clown
Rangers
antics.
fandom agrees with me enough that it got hyphenated.
I feel like it was just Saban being like, wizards and clowns, same thing.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I think
well,
this
you got
is
the
whatever.
point. You glutton. All right.
No, he's got like the Fantasia Mickey hat and everything.
Yeah, wizard.
Clowns could look like wizards.
This is the dress of 2018,
and the
and the other one.
and the card. This is a Power Rangers collectible card. It says the Ooze Man cometh.
All right, Jordan, you got one last question.
We got to go over to Kamikaze and get some
Okay.
of those cards.
All right, here's your last question. It's actually not multiple choice. I'm going to read you.
Oh, I gotta write it out.
No, you're just going to. Okay, you just got to say it out loud.
Okay.
You need to finish this limerick spoken by Ivan Ooze. Spoken while in his clever clown disguise as he peddles his ooze on children.
Could you rephrase that?
Sells his ooze to children.
Okay.
Take it home in boxes, take it home in cases. If your parents try and stop you, just
Punch them in their faces.
throw it in their face.
Throw it in
I
their
knew
face.
it.
Oh,
I
too
knew
violent.
that
Too
one,
violent
yeah.
for Power Rangers.
Okay, so
Stab him in the face.
Shoot them in the faces with my Glock. Here it is.
my clown gun.
Does he get the point? Or no?
All right, so I'm just okay. So after the first round, Neil, you have 3 points. Jordan has 3 points.
Oh,
yeah.
So we're moving on to the lightning round.
we're gonna have to actually fight.
All right, pull out your
Power
phones.
Ranger style.
All right, pull out your phones
Okay, I got my notepad open here.
Yep.
for the lightning round, and there is a tiebreaker. For the lightning round, name as many Power Rangers as you can from this movie.
Oh, like their actual
The
names?
character names, just their first names. So there's only 6 of them.
There are, but I don't.
All right,
Oh, I got that.
All right, hang on. All right,
So you'll get.
let me think.
I'll give you 1 minute. All right, Neil. This is honor system here.
Okay.
Neil, name me your Power Rangers, and for every one you get right, you get a point.
I got Tommy,
That's 1.
Rocky,
Yep,
and Billy.
gets 3. That's all you wrote?
Well, that's all I got right. I wrote down Johnny Young Bosch.
What's
Anything else?
I was trying to remember his name,
Johnny
and
Young
not
Bosch's
Trini.
Okay, 3 points.
And Booger was the other one.
Neil's up to 6 points.
Okay.
From nerds.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would make a great ranger. That guy.
Okay. No, he'd make a good Alpha 5. Booger.
Yeah.
Just get all of them in there. Get all the nerds in there.
Yeah.
Don't go back and watch that movie.
No, do not.
No. Just watch the Booger scenes.
Okay, what do you got,
All right.
Jordan?
So I got Rocky.
Yep.
Billy, Kimberly, Tommy,
How did I forget?
Aisha.
Yeah.
Shit. All right, you win there.
I'm trying to remember Johnny Young Bosch's name. It's on like the tip of my tongue.
I know.
here. What's the first letter?
A.
A? Adam.
Yes.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So Jordan won, but can I tell you the tiebreaker question?
Sure.
Yes.
I was going to have you guys do Price is Right rules
Let's just do it
and,
anyway.
and go, okay. All right. So we're going to do Price is Right rules. How many stars did Roger Ebert give Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie in his review? Out of a maximum of 4.
I feel like there's one option here.
It's not a 0-star movie because I think he reserved that for like truly reprehensible movies.
Right.
I'm gonna go a little risky. I'm gonna say 2.
Okay, I'm going 1.
Half a star.
Whoa! He didn't like it.
He did not care for it.
We both lose.
All right, so that was our Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie quiz. We'll be right back with questions from patrons.
I think it's a 2-star movie. I love that song. Anyway, here's the Q&As. Kevin, can you load up some Q&As from our Patreon patrons?
Right, so every episode we take questions for the last segment of the show, and they come exclusively from patrons. If you go over to guaranteedvideo.com, any amount of money you back us for will allow you to ask questions on the show. We only charge when we make a new movie, which is like every 2 months at this point. So our questions for this episode, let's see. We got one here from Colin Lamprey. Colin asks, hey, you're podcasters now. Do you listen to any other podcasts? Jordan, do you have any shows you'd like to recommend? Anything you listen to regularly?
Yeah, I might steal one from Neil potentially, but I really like We Hate Movies.
Yeah, that was my answer.
And yeah, that's the one I've been doing a lot of. And then Spontaneous Nation with Paul Tompkins is the other one.
What's it called?
Spontaneous Nation with Paul
It's
Tompkins.
like improv comedy one?
Yeah,
I have heard this one.
yeah.
I listened to that in a road trip not that long ago.
Yeah, it's really fun. And he'll just get a couple of people together. He interviews someone that he's friends with or something, and then they'll talk. And then based off of their conversation, they pull stuff and do improv for like 30 minutes or something, or 20 minutes. And yeah, it's pretty fun. Those are two that I always just leave on while I'm drawing or working at this point. Yeah.
What about you, Neil?
I'll talk about why We Hate Movies is great. It's because they have a huge back catalog. Their episodes are all like an hour to an hour and a half. They're just like old pros at shooting the shit with each other. It's just like, super solid. Another good one is...
do they pick a movie and review?
Yeah, they just pick a movie that's either truly bad or it's delightfully bad,
Yeah.
and they just kind of talk about it. And they all have like a background in improv and stuff, and they're just super funny. I like I Don't Even Own a Television, which is the same idea, but it's for books. They go to the trouble of reading a shitty book for each episode, and then they just tear it apart for an episode.
Cool.
And that's actually how I first heard about Ready Player One. So
I have to go listen to that.
great idea for a podcast.
For me, I mentioned on the show before, I'm a big fan of Giant Bomb. I like everything Giant Bomb does. I've been a premium backer of those guys since probably 2009.
Wow.
I've been listening to them. They've held up real well. They have an East Coast show now called the Giant Beast Cast, which I like. I listened to my friend's show, the VHS Bandits, which Dane Volke's on. Dane Volke's a good friend of ours. As far as other regular shows, I don't know. I don't have a lot of regular podcasts I do. Like I'll if there's like a fad show like Serial, I listened to both seasons of Serial. I really liked it. I loved S-Town. Juliana Paisley asks, if you kill a zombie, is that one living thing double dying, or is it an entirely new thing dying for the first time?
Asking for a friend. I don't know.
It's already dead, I think. I think zombies are already dead.
It depends on how it works in the universe, in the fictional universe that you're killing a zombie in. If it were in the real universe, I think that counts as it's the same morally as if someone was technically dead, if they died on the operating table and then were resuscitated.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're allowed to kill them. That's a person. That's a person that is still alive, although in a strange zombified state. But they have through the miracle of whatever has caused them to become a zombie, they've been given a second chance, and you're taking it away from them. So yeah.
Jordan.
Oh man, I feel like I don't know, just kill it again. I don't know. It's I would you know what actually I think that it's something it is dying for a second time. I think it is. It's something else.
Usually zombies don't. There's like Day of the Dead where they retain certain functions that they remember, but for the most part, if they have any personality they have is the zombie personality.
Yeah, or it's almost like just your lizard brain.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just that.
There might be instincts that are left over, but they're just like muscle memory.
I guess it's almost semantics because it's kind of like,
yeah,
that is them, but
this should not be as divisive as, say, abortion. Carrie Hansen asks, if you were forced to choose one creative medium and forgo all others, what would you choose? Neil.
Have we been? I think we've gotten a similar question before, but I'd probably have to stick with music just because I've been working at it for the longest. It's probably just the best. I don't know. It's the most fun way to pass time. Too.
Sure.
Yeah, I could make music even if no one listened to it.
If I had to pick one element of what I do between like editing, shooting, writing, photography. The most satisfying thing is often shooting. Editing, though, is sometimes just the thing I want to do at like 1 a.m. Like I want to be alone and in my own world. So I don't know. I guess just post-production would be the one thing that I'd keep. What about you, Jordan? If you could pick one thing.
I mean, yeah. I guess I already did, and it's drawing, but
Yeah.
I did do other stuff too. And
You were a colorist.
Colorist, and also I made movies and stuff with my friends or whatever.
Do you want to go back to that? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that if I also really like editing, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite part of doing it then. But yeah, it's comics probably, or just illustration, I guess. I'm not sure. Something with drawing, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, within film production, I would probably stick to After Effects because that's probably my favorite program to.
You can make so much magic.
Yeah.
I guess it's all of us. It's just like all the stuff,
The manipulation.
noodling around after. And,
I think the older I get, the more I'm going to want to stick to just shooting. Like I get hired to shoot a lot these days. I just did a few days for Harvard. And I see that becoming a skill that's a little more refinable, whereas a lot of editing software, I get the feeling every 10 years I'm going to have to reinvent the wheel. Because I'm starting to suspect that Adobe Premiere is not going to be the thing very soon. Because people are so unhappy with Adobe Creative Suite, and there's free competition that does the same thing better.
Sony Vegas is coming back.
No, DaVinci Resolve, which is free.
Oh, really?
It's free. If you're doing 4K, you got to pay for a license. But even then, you just pay once. You don't have to do this monthly subscription for broken software. Premiere is so broken right now. It's insane. Then Jelen asks, which of the nightmares described in the video have you guys had? Or what's the most similar nightmare you've had to the ones in the video? So we just put out a video called 50 State Nightmares. Neil, I think I know the answer for you on this one. Out of all the late nightmares listed, it's the one about pets.
Yeah, I have recurring nightmares or just uncomfortable, sad dreams where I find a room or an old cage or something and it's just full of like hamsters that I used to have that I forgot about.
Terrible.
And it's just like, oh shit, this animal is still alive, but it's dying. It's like when you find your Neopets and you log back in. It's just kind of a weird, like realizing you've been neglecting something dream.
That is, I think, the saddest one of those.
It's a little too real.
Yeah, it's like,
I had that dream. I've had that dream before a pet passed away. Like for sure. Like, oh no, I gotta go feed my cat. Like,
yeah.
What about you, Jordan? Have you had it? Do you remember? There's 50 of them.
Yeah, I gotta think about it. Yeah, you go first, and then I'll do it.
Oh, that was it for me. Like, honestly, like everything else was so outlandish.
Oh yeah.
Neil asked me, like, do you have any nightmares? Like, I'm trying to brainstorm for this list, and I gave you like 3, and you're like, no, those are all really sad. Like, those are like really upsetting nightmares.
Was there any of them that connected? Because I did try to make them follow dream logic.
Yeah,
I had ones just about like the end of the world and stuff like that, or like not being able to fly, but that's barely a nightmare. And
I remember a cool nightmare I had when I was a kid. I remember finding out from the news or just looking outside, there was a tornado and it was like nighttime, and the tornado went through some sort of electronics store, so it had all these electric sparks got sucked up into it. It was just an electric volcano coming, or a tornado coming for me.
So
I
guess that's not a nightmare, but so a couple weeks ago, for some reason, I looked up Meteor Man on YouTube. I rented Meteor Man more than once as a kid, and I think Meteor Man ruined flying dreams for me for like a decade.
What happens
Does he have
in
trouble
Meteor
flying?
Man?
He has trouble flying in it, and I think it broke my subconscious instincts for flight. And because in Meteor Man, he doesn't like Superman around. He'll only fly like 10 feet above the ground because he's like afraid of heights.
I actually, I didn't want to have. My dad asked me like if I wanted to fly like Superman, and I didn't like it because I felt like there was nothing to save me if I fell. And he's like, "But you can fly," and I'm like,
That says
"No,
so much,
I don't
right?
trust it."
Yeah.
Like
I didn't have it before. It could go away.
Yeah.
I never had flying dreams.
I've had a lot of flying dreams.
I had Spider-Man dreams though, because you are swinging on your own web and you are completely in control of this. You can make another web. It's different than just flying. You can fall.
I kind of remember having like zero gravity dreams, kind of, which is different. It was more like, I always thought it would be cool to go into space. I always thought that was the coolest thing about going into space was not having gravity.
Yeah.
So I used to dream about that. Kevin is playing a clip from The Meteor Man, 1993, and it is really funny. He is just kind of like hovering.
It's
around
wire work.
really.
It looks good.
It's pretty good.
All right. Anyways, all right, next question. I'll cut that out. Brandon Dinez asks, If you had to move out of Massachusetts, what state would you move to?
Geez, I've been thinking about California maybe because that's just where all the jobs are.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer.
Yes. Yeah. It basically, as someone in my industry, you basically should be in New York or California.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're asking to be poor.
Yep.
Like there's just a finite amount of jobs.
It shouldn't matter with comics though, and it doesn't for the most part.
No,
right?
it's true, but it's just kind of like thinking about like, do I want to keep doing comics or like, is there other stuff I could be doing over there that
concept art and
yeah,
stuff,
or something that where I might make more money or might be more fun? I don't know. Because comics are great, but they are very solitary and a lot of work for not a lot of money. And it's just like there's got to be something I could be doing, something else. I don't know.
Acting.
Yes, the theater.
Yeah, your reel consists of some stuff from 10 years ago and turning into pants.
Yeah, I'm all set, you guys. It's time. It's time.
Sorry. I love the idea of your reel opening and you turning into pants. And then, like, after a couple clips, you show that again, but flipped horizontally. Neil, what about you? Any other state in the union you've thought about moving to?
Oh, yeah. Well, Massachusetts is where I live now.
It's kind of the best state.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. I was like, I don't know. I guess Rhode Island, because I could just hop back over the border back to Massachusetts.
That's a cheat.
Yeah. Rhode Island is...
I thought about that. I thought about saying like Maine for the same reason because I love Southern Maine.
Oh yeah.
But that's a cheat.
I'm trying to think. What is a fun state?
It's kind of just cities. It's fun cities.
I haven't explored enough.
I think if I had to force myself to get outside of my element and like kind of, I think this is the spirit of the question. I like North Carolina and Tennessee. I've driven through them both a few times, and Tennessee is just gorgeous, nonstop fun from east to west. From what I saw from the highway, granted. In North Carolina, there's just a surprising amount of industry out there that's exciting. Game studios and stuff like that, and again, beautiful, and it's just different enough, than New England,
Yeah,
I moved here from Austin. I do miss Austin. Austin's pretty great.
It is pretty cool,
but it's just Austin.
Yeah, I've been to like the three distinct regions of Texas. Like I've been to like the Midlands, like Odessa, and it's just mud. It's like it's so. But I mean, like, what do you think? Like maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, the thing, it's like most people move to New York or California, and I'm very three bears about it, I think. It's like, California is too spread out. New York is too cramped, I kind of like...
Massachusetts is nice. Yeah.
It's nice middle ground for me.
Mm-hmm.
I got one here from Catherine. How did each of you lose your first tooth?
The way it's phrased sounds like, oh, we all have the same story. Like, we were all together when we lost our first tooth.
Yeah, the question is, quote, can you each tell the story of how you lost your first tooth?
I can. I don't remember.
I was playing soccer in my backyard using a basketball, and it hit me in the face.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty good.
I don't have a specific story, but I do have the horrible memory of how it felt to pull a tooth out.
Yeah.
When it's just kind of dangling by a little bit of skin.
It did. I thought that never hurt as much as I thought it would.
No, it doesn't. But the build up to it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And the feeling of ripping it off.
Neil and I used to have the same dentist when we were kids.
Oh, really?
And Neil stopped going to him because he's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
It was Baja. That's his first name. And
I remember after...
his last name is... fuck it. His name is Baja Rizkala. Which is a great name, right?
Yeah. I didn't like him as a kid, but I remember after we saw The Hunchback of Notre Dame, walking out of the theaters, we were like, hey, that Frollo villain guy, it's kind of like Dr. Rizkala, isn't he?
I liked him because I was kind of a glutton for dental punishment. I had to get 4 teeth taken out when I got braces, and they put Novocaine in for the first tooth they had to pull. And then after that, they went to go to the second one. And as a kid, I said, just pull it. And my dad was present. The dentist looked at my dad's like, he wants to try this without Novocaine. And my dad's like, oh, let him have it. Like my dad thought I would learn my lesson. And they pulled the other 3 and I didn't use Novocaine. I just didn't care. I didn't like, I thought my gums were too thin for a needle. I was overthinking.
The needle's kind of the worst part sometimes.
It really is. And I just totally had teeth ripped out of my face without Novocaine. So maybe that explains why I liked Rizkala.
I think he's retired now. So
his son runs it now.
Yeah.
Don't bother this guy. He's a nice guy. Mika asks, fuck, marry, kill. Fucking, marriage, killing. I think they parallel. I think you kill, killing, you fuck, fucking, you marry, marriage.
I feel like that's it.
All right, one and done.
Yeah.
Viva.
No, wait a minute. Hang on.
Fuck
You're gonna imagine.
killing,
Like, what's it like to kill fucking?
Yeah, what is that? What do you do?
You've killed the very concept of fucking.
We're just coming up with new verbs. Kill, fucking. Viva asks for each of us, if you were to force the other co-hosts to see a single movie, no matter what quality or length, what would it be and why? I think we're all pretty open-minded. I don't think there's anything you've wanted me to see or vice versa that I haven't seen. I don't know.
Man, hang on. I think I have like a text list
I think
of
a lot of
movies I
people
want to force you guys to watch already.
I think Jordan, you and Joe both told me I really should make an effort to see Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, that's a good movie though. I'm trying to think of something.
I had a bunch of people tell me that might get me back into Marvel movies. Like that's the one that would.
It's pretty charming. It's
yeah,
pretty
but
cute.
I'm also worried about overselling it to you because it is
every Marvel movie I'm oversold.
Well, that's
on.
the thing is that it's not. What's nice about it is that it's very downbeat compared to the other ones.
That's kind of what,
and it's a smaller deal.
And a good director.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Like you told me that Martin Starr was in it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Martin Starr's in it, and Hannibal Buress. They're both his teachers.
Yeah.
I guess that if I had to pick one to force you to watch, I feel like, oh man, I don't know. So there's this movie called Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins.
I know nothing about Dragon Ball,
man.
so that's why.
Great. It's a bootleg Dragon Ball movie it's live action, made in 1990 in China. And it's great. I don't know if it's really great, but I love it. I've watched it a lot, and I've made other friends watch it. It's always very fun. There's no credits at the end of the movie.
Cool.
I feel like every
wow,
week,
it just sprung up.
There's no credits, but it's the two guys are like gonna do a Rocky where they spar at the end, and it does a freeze frame where they're both kicking, and then there's just nothing. It was just a freeze frame with music, outro music, and no credits
For like 5 minutes?
For like 5 minutes.
Oh no, they forgot to put them in.
That's great. That's
anyway,
really good.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's really weird.
I think all the trash movies I want my friends to watch, I just make them watch. Like, hey, we're gonna watch Freaked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
Kevin, do you want to watch McHale's Navy? On my list, I think we have to watch Wes Craven's Shocker.
Yeah, but we want to see that.
Yeah, let's see.
We made a parody of it. We haven't seen it.
Yeah, what's a movie that? Yeah.
I think we're supposed to watch Terror Vision.
I've seen
movie.
that.
Yeah.
Terror Vision's great. I'll make you see Terror Vision.
Okay.
I can't think of a movie I've ever told you to watch and you've gone no thanks because of like the director or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of all of us. We're all just down for whatever.
Yeah.
Or just like if it's really poorly made, it's kind of like, sure, I'm excited to see this failure of a film.
Yeah. I've made bad movies too. Let's see.
Yeah.
Smurfy asks, Neil, everyone else who makes their living from internet projects seems to have released monetized videos hyper frequently just to be able to scrape 2 pennies together. But not only do you seem to be doing fine with fairly irregular uploads, but you often devote large amounts of time to projects, like the mashup albums, which really can't be monetized. Are you a wizard, or what's the deal?
Man, I don't know. Well, part of it, my YouTube money is kind of kept afloat by the Potter Puppet Pals videos, which just really like the old ones alone still get views. They still get a lot of views. I still like making those videos, and I'll make one every once in a while. And I haven't officially quit those or anything, but it's always been kind of diminishing returns. But in the meantime, I've just have a more diverse portfolio where I also put out music and, sell that. And I also have a Patreon to kind of cover the stuff that can't be monetized that I do for fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just all together, it just kind of works out for me. Other people have a more limited kind of output, like all they do is make videos. And in that kind of case, yeah, it is great and probably really gratifying to kind of like set up set up shop and like really
once every 2 days.
Make it your job, you know?
Yeah, there's like definitely like a line graph. I use that mental image a lot where you see like, okay, if I have to make a video every 3 days to make enough money to live, what can I make? And that's sort of it's really not the kind of thing anyone I know wants to make.
Yeah.
If that grammar made any sense. Like I don't really know anyone in the immediate vicinity who was like, I really just want to make vlogs. Or you, Ryan, and I have talked about like the math of if we made a movie of the caliber we'd like to make on the regular, what frequency could we do that at? We're also considering day jobs and other commitments in our lives. And it's hard to see like, oh yeah, we're just going to make a movie like Year of the Snake every 3 weeks. Like we could, but like it would be miserable for us. And people would probably get really tired of our stuff if we made it that frequently. Like we'd also probably would start falling onto scripts we're not crazy about or making very samey ideas. Like,
yeah, I feel like in the early days of YouTube, people experimented with like, oh, I'll make a skit one per week. Waverly Films did that back in the day.
Standards were so different back then.
Standards were definitely different. But I guess that was sort of the way it was with Vine for a little while. It wasn't directly monetizable, but it was there were absolutely people who were producing scripted, albeit 5-second movies on a regular basis as their day job. But that doesn't necessarily always work with YouTube. I think if you're going to be putting out content regularly, it does have to be kind of in the review or gameplay sphere, I think.
Sure. Which is, you really just aren't making a lot of. It's basically a podcast, right?
Yeah, it's basically a podcast, but it is weird. I think really only soap operas in terms of fiction.
Min-maxing production to...
You kind of don't want that much fiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There really isn't like a de facto guaranteed video type. I mean, there's definitely like a certain type of horror comedy skit that is every third video we make.
Yeah.
But like the Nightmares video is, different. And I think every content creator on YouTube basically has to assess like what their audience wants. Cause if you like change your formula too much too quickly, like people drop you like a bad habit for some reason, which is unfair. Or you just have to make another channel for all that stuff. Biona asks, in a D&D type setting, what would each of your classes be? I don't know what the D&D classes are.
I was looking it up.
My friends and I once did a Star Trek game of GURPS that ran a couple of weeks, and I played as the Scotty equivalent. And my character bias was that I knew a lot about alien technology. Like I knew all the faults about foreign tech, but I didn't know how to operate it because I was just like biased. I was like a bigot about tech. So it's like when someone like buys an iPhone, if you don't like iPhone, you're like, oh, there's problems with the cables and all this stuff. But if someone hands you an iPhone, you don't know how to use it. Like that was the whole hook I went for.
It's pretty good.
Neil, did I buy you enough time?
I'm looking at the list here. And they all kind of sound boring. There's a sorcerer and a wizard and a warlock. Sure, I assume warlock is slightly more woodsy, I guess, but I don't know what the difference. I guess a wizard is in like the service of the king. I guess I don't know. A wizard is a sorcerer with a job.
I would like us a wizard with a job.
I'm so sorry, we don't know.
I would like us to create a D&D game based off of our knowledge of this.
Okay, but I was looking at that and I was thinking there's a monk class. And what's that? Like you just pray when you're in trouble or something? Like what good is a monk in a
Against a dragon? A fantasy martial artist.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
A fighting monk.
A kung fu guy.
Cool. So you get the power of your fists and the power of the Lord, or whatever you believe in.
Right.
So yeah, I'd be a monk. Solve mysteries.
I don't think we know enough about this game, D&D. Eli Roberts asks, if you had things sticking out of your head at regular intervals, a la Hellraiser, what would they be? For
That's
example,
the second time we've called
toothbrushes.
the character Pinhead Hellraiser. It's not his name, but it's
what are you going to do when
understand
Nightmare on Elm Street comes for you?
Yeah.
That's what you do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like how I call Kevin McAllister Home Alone.
Yeah.
He's Home Alone.
Sticking out of my head at regular interval. Toothbrushes is a really good one.
That's pretty good.
Maybe those little plastic babies that you can buy at like
A Kewpie?
at the craft store. No, the little like the craft store ones.
Okay.
The little tiny babies.
Aren't those Kewpies? Are they not?
I guess they look like Kewpies, but they're like little tiny ones.
I do green army men.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Wait, are they just stuck there?
They're poking out.
Can you get them out?
No.
Can Pinhead take his?
Yeah, actually, does Pinhead ever take a
Can
pin
he
out
shoot
and like
his
pop a balloon?
pins? Yeah. Pop a balloon.
Silence.
One of the other Cenobites is like, oh man, oh I tore a hole in my costume. I need to sew it up. Would you?
Pinhead walks into a room and he wants to be scary, but all the lights are on. He like holds his breath and blows his cheeks, and all the
Yeah.
come out.
This feels like a
Knocks
gag
out all
from like old Fangoria magazines. They'd have like the editorial section. And they'd have like one little cartoon.
yeah.
Yeah,
how
this
Jaffe would
is
draw it.
yeah.
What about you, Jordan? You got anything?
Man.
AA batteries.
Yeah, batteries is good.
Oh, like chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
A USB cable.
Whoa, would I get like
USB.
really tired or something? Or, like,
You gotta eat a lot of potatoes.
yeah, everyone's like charging to me and I'm just like dying. How would that work? I guess that's pretty convenient. I don't know.
Good one. All right,
Yeah.
last question's from Alex Johnson. If you could insert a theme based on something you created into a pinball table, what would you choose and what would the gimmick be of the table? I mean, it's got to be Daxter, Flaxter, right?
Yeah, what's the gimmick there though?
It says it's 25 cents, but it's actually 75. So you put a quarter in
Yeah.
and you like, gotcha! Like it comes up on the screen.
Man, can we like
man.
get like a cheap pinball machine and just make a Daxter Flaxter?
Sure.
Just like Dr. Dude. It's the same thing.
There you go.
I guess an Ariel needs legs pinball machine would be pretty good. And I guess the gimmick would be like there's a bunch of tentacles in it, but they're like soft rubber, so they never really like bounce the ball very well. It just kind of like gets stuck on them and stuff.
That's pretty good.
Have you ever heard of Dr. Dude?
No.
It's pretty much Daxter Flaxter.
Oh, I think I've seen Dr. Dude before.
yeah,
I think
he's
I've
getting
seen
laid. That's what he's
that.
doing.
It's like a bowling alley or something.
Yeah.
I love horny pinball machines.
Yeah, why? They're all so horny. Calm
I
down.
know.
It's always children playing, you guys. What are you
Always.
doing?
And weird old guys.
Yeah.
Like us. Well, I guess that's it for this episode of Guaranteed Audio. I'll probably edit out that Spider-Man question into its own thing. We talked about Spider-Man and other movies for
A whole other
like
podcast.
45 minutes. But thank you for listening. We'll be back next time with Ryan probably. And yet again, if you want to write in some questions in the following weeks, we'll put up a post on Patreon a couple days in advance before recording. And you can ask any questions you want. You can catch all of our movies and stuff over at guaranteedvideo.com. Thank you again, Jordan, for filling in and joining us for our Power Rangers discussion, which was like 2 hours ago. At this
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, I guess I'm at Gibson Comics on pretty much everything. If you want to check out my art or yeah, if you like Power Rangers, I do a bunch of Power Rangers stuff. So yeah, keep an eye out, I guess.
Neil, you got anything you want to say, or should we just stop recording?
I do. But I need you to say the name of the podcast first.
Guaranteed Audio.
Metallics.
Okay. All right.